This video can change lives, so we're gonna teach it that way. Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing awesome today. Today I'm gonna teach you how to find a product using keywords so that you niche down to a profitable niche. Now I know this is difficult for a lot of people because you start with a bunch of keywords and you're searching them in all these different programs and you get this huge database and then you go, how in the world do I actually find a product based on all these keywords? Because you have so many. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're looking at pipes and you see a lot of potential for this product. And you decide you're gonna sell pipes because the demand is high, competition is low, and don't forget this third point, the differentiation opportunity is massive. But as you are searching these keywords, you come up with this massive list of pipes. Let me just give you an example of a few that you might be searching and find a lot of potential for. So one of them might be long wooden pipe. You would call that a long tail keyword. Get it? Next one would be a short plastic pipe. You would still call that a long tail keyword because there's more than two keywords. Another one might be deep lighting bulb pipe. You get where I'm going with this. And you come up with a list of 20, 30, 40 keywords. Now, you know you're onto something because you studied the competitors' reviews, their critical reviews, and you found ways to differentiate so that the pipe that you make is going to be superior to the pipes of the competitors. The problem is, what do you do with the list of 20 to 30 to 40 keywords? You start thinking, wait a minute, should I do brown ones or should I do black ones? Should I do plastic ones or should I do wooden ones? Should I do long ones or short ones? And you begin to wonder. And the challenge with this is anytime you're trying to sell a product, it's really important you understand how to break it into subcategories. If you remain in this large, huge, fat category with all these keywords and you launch a product, there's nothing unique about your product. You're trying to sell everything. Oh, we're long and short, wooden and plastic, brown and black. It doesn't work. So you have to break it down into subcategories. Now I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. A lot of people make this mistake, don't make this mistake. They say, well, we got long ones, we got short ones, we got deep ones, and we got shallow ones, and we got plastic ones, and they just start making these random subcategorization decisions. But on what basis do they do that? Their own mind. The problem with that is that means you're now following your imagination, not the needs and desires of the customer, the shoppers on Amazon. What I'm going to show you is how to break this into the right categories. Now here's the key. You're going to do it based on what the data tells you. The first piece of data is going to be okay, I need a little more space. If only, I really wish that would work. Oh, very nice. I like it. Okay, cool. So there's three pieces of data. Number one is going to be reviews. Number two is going to be the number of top competitors. Now, some of you are saying, well, Seth, how do I know who is a top competitor? Well, if they're doing about 15 sales per day or more, as a general rule, for most categories, you can consider that a top competitor. And number three is going to be price. And by price, I don't mean the price it costs you to buy it from the manufacturer. I mean the selling price. Look at these three pieces of data, break down the pipes, the keywords, based on that data. Let me give you an example. Let's just say, for fun, that the plastic pipes are selling a lot cheaper than the wooden pipes. Okay, you're gonna define that based on the price. And let's say the majority of plastic pipes are selling for $12 a piece. The majority of these nice wooden ones, the mahogany, are selling for over 30 bucks. What you just did, do you realize what you just did? You allowed the customer, the buyer, to tell you what to do. In other words, you are serving them. That's how you make money. You're allowing the market to tell you what to do. When you do that, it allows you to be effective. Now let me show you what I mean. If I break all my keywords down based on price, okay, so I got group 1 and I have group 2, now I'm gonna research this niche, and I might notice that in the plastic niche right here, we have a lot more we have a lot lower sales or lower retail sales here than here. In other words, the price is lower than here. So I'm going to be more profitable here. And I also begin to notice that the reviews here are lower and they're higher here, which is an indicator that these are a newer product because there aren't as many reviews. Newer product means more opportunity to differentiate because the price and the reviews told me that. You see where this is going? As a result, when you're trying to decide, well, man, which one am I going to do? You don't have to wonder anymore. It's obvious. You let the customer decide for you. Guys, listen. Anytime you're researching keywords for a product and you feel your brain just is about to go bleh, all you need to do is let the market data tell you where to go. Let me give you one more example to make sure you got this. You know what? I need more space. Let's see if that worked. Boom, it did. This is awesome. Okay, let me give you another example. We talked about price. Let's focus on reviews just for a minute. First, let's talk about Mr. Plastic Pipe. In fact, let's not focus on the plastic. Let's focus on the length. I want you to pretend with me that this one is a short pipe. Use your imagination. And on here, we notice that the short pipes, and remember, you need to make sure this is true for all the keywords, or at least 80% of them that have the word short and pipe in the keyword. Because I know a lot of them blend. What you're trying to figure out is how do the customers segment these out, not how would you do it. So the short pipes over here, and then you have the long pipes here. Okay, so again, this is a short pipe because your imagination's awesome, and this is the long pipe. Imagine it's a Gandalf pipe. Here's the long one, here's the short one. See? The short pipes have their own keywords, and you notice that the competitors tend to be 10 or fewer, but the long pipes tend to be 12 or more. In other words, these have fewer competitors, these have more competitors. What does that teach you? Well, there's more competition for the long pipes. So maybe I need to launch a product that is the short category. You see the difference? And it allows me to narrow down and decide, okay, if I launch here, less competition, but then I also have to look at demand. If the demand is strong, even though these have fewer competitors and these have more, then this is a potential opportunity. But if the demand is low, the sales here are really low, that could be an indication why there's fewer sellers. What you're doing, guys, is you're allowing the shoppers' habits and what they do, you're allowing them to tell you where to go. That is how you build a business. That is how you build products that make money. I hear a lot of people saying, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. It's so saturated. Guys, it's not saturated. Do you realize that there are more, if you look at the percentage growth, there are more people buying on Amazon as it grows than people selling on Amazon. The difference is astonishing. There are people waiting for you to launch a new product, and the data is there, and I see it all the time. The difference is how many sellers know how to do it the right way. I'm teaching you from years of experience, all condensed down into this little video. This is not just some idea I randomly came up with. This is the result of years of trial and error combined to help you crush it. Let me give you one more example. Let's see if we can get rid of this now. Yes, it's working. Okay, I'm telling you guys, you start selling Amazon for a while, some amazing, awesome things happen as you go. Okay, let me show you one more example to make sure you get this. We talked about price being a differentiator. We talked about the length based on competitors. Let's focus a little more on reviews now. Let's just pretend that the light colored wooden pipes tend to have lower, or I should say, let's say fewer reviews. Okay, the light colored. The dark colored pipes tend to have more reviews. Now again, you don't want to just look at a couple keywords that are light pipes and a couple that are dark pipes and decide, oh, these are fewer, these are more, there we go. You need to make sure at least 80% of the keywords you're looking at that have the word light in them, referring to the tone of the wood, are actually fewer reviews, and at least 80% or more of the darker tone ones, the ones with the word dark tone or dark wood or dark color, have more reviews. What does this tell me? This tells me right here that the lighter toned pipes are probably newer. And you can use a Mezal, you can use Keepa, you can even look at the listings to find out how long have these been on there. The newer the product, the newer the market, the more opportunity you have to differentiate and crush it. Now, what I love about this process is as you are selling on Amazon, I'm showing you how to make it powerful because you're doing one thing that most Amazon sellers fail to do, and that is they forget that the customer is your boss. If you make the customer your boss, if you allow their needs to be first and your preferences and your opinions and your emotions over here, secondary, I promise the result is you will have much better emotions because you will sell more, you will make more money, and you'll have margin. And I'm gonna share one thing for those of you guys who are sitting on the edge, struggling, trying to decide. You need to take action. You need to move forward. I know some of you guys, you're sitting on the fence. You're like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? You're trying to decide if you want to sell on Amazon. You need to move forward with your life, with your dreams. You will never figure out the joy of even the adventure of getting there until you try. Because a ship is very safe in the harbor, but it was meant for the ocean.